So this is going to be a follow-up video from the video that I made back on Friday. So there's going to be actually two videos, and I'm going to try to make this quick, maybe 6 minutes if possible. So here's what I think about the whole idea of the Democrats trying to think of an idea to just charge President Donald Trump with the idea of obstruction of justice. I think it's completely insane. I mean, again, it's just, I said before in the previous video where the Mueller report showed that there was no evidence that Donald Trump colluded with Russia, and it exonerated him on that account. It completely exonerated him. No direct evidence of Russian collusion. And the fact that they're going on about this with the whole obstruction of justice thing, it's insane to me. I've actually uploaded a website which actually has which is criminal.findlaw.com, and I will be putting that down in the description below, which talks about obstructing justice under federal jurisdiction, and it has several of the U.S. law codes in there as well, so you can definitely look into them for further reference. Ways which the individual may commit offense of obstruction of justice would include influencing and injuring an officer or juror generally, obstruction of criminal investigations, tampering with a witness, victim, or an informant, retaliating against a witness, victim, or an informant, destruction of corporate audit records, and so on and so forth, and also with tampering with evidence, bribery, lying to investigators, that sort of thing. From what we see, Donald Trump hasn't really done anything about this. In fact, if I didn't know any better, I think the whole obstruction of justice would fall on people like Michael Cohen and I think Paul Manafort, because they intentionally lied to investigators in order to probably gain some more publicity and just to try to have a lighter sentence. So to apply this to Donald Trump, it's just, it doesn't seem right at all. You need to have be convicted of a crime, and if you're found guilty of that, then you should be obviously sent to jail, of course. But if you found tampering with the evidence, trying to interfere in any way, then that's obviously the obstruction of justice. You were trying to get away with the act, but of course, they found you guilty, and now obstruction of justice. But from what we see here, the evidence show no collusion made by Donald Trump with the Russians. Absolutely none. Let's take a look at the things they said. It says here, influencing or injuring an officer or juror generally. Now, this would be the biggest point that the Democrats are making. The reason why I have a problem with this, despite it being their biggest argument, is that I believe, isn't it that true that this was actually initiated by Congress? I mean, yes, the president can fire certain individuals, but there's a certain amount of executive privilege that he has. The Congress has a specific power to check on the president, especially when it comes to taxes, U.S. Military and armed forces, and etc. So in that way, even let's just say Robert Mueller was actually kicked off of as a special counsel. There was going to be a new person that was going to eventually come into this to replace Robert Mueller. I don't think there was going to be too much change except for a change of face, because this investigation was supported by by not the Democrats. I'm not saying the Democrats, by the Congress. That is the specifics of how that happened. And of course, and while it did report to the Attorney General, which of course it did. That's the case because it's the Department of Justice. A lot of the time, the Department of Justice, especially with Jeff Sessions at the helm, stayed out of the investigation entirely. So again, where I don't see any idea of this kind of obstruction, and I know that these media outlets say that Trump was like, oh, this is gonna ruin his presidency. I'm screwed. I'll put in a news article down there below just to show you an example. But still, when do you feel the same? Wouldn't you feel the same way? And two, that just because he said that does not mean that he was going to go and actually interfere with the investigation. I mean, this is politics we're playing here. And it's like it's a little bit of I don't like the idea of doing this, but it's kind of like a game. There's certain rewards and certain punishments that happen over the course of the game. That's unfortunately what happens. That's reality. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I'm kind of thinking Game of Thrones right now. I don't really watch that show too much, but still. And of course, there was the retaliating against a witness, which, if there, the tampering with a witness, victim, or an informant. If there is any news about that, I have not seen it. I would love it if anyone down in the comments below would mention this to me, and I would love to check in on that, whether if it's true or not. Obstruction of criminal investigations, I already mentioned that. And destruction of corporate audit records. No evidence of that either. From what I hear, Donald Trump has actually cooperated with the investigation. I know that it's a tense relationship, but he still decided to cooperate. So I don't see anything that might help the Democrats with their whole idea of impeachment or trying to bring down President Donald Trump. Like I said before, guys, it's over. It's over. The Mueller investigation is done. There was no collusion. Yes, there was interference by foreign powers, but how much of an extent did that affect? Not much. So it's time to finally get over it. And I know I've went over 2 minutes, so yeah, I'm sorry about that. So yeah, that's my opinions on the whole idea of the obstruction of justice. I would love to hear what other people's opinions about that are, and yeah, again, I would love to hear other people's opinions about that so far. My name is Noah, on the Arc of Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with your friends. See ya.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains.